So as you all know, Yubel in Master Duel is currently missing a few cards from the TCG and OCG. Namely, Varudra's, the rank 10 exceeds Omni Negate, and all of the Fiendsmith cards. However, there is one card legal in Master Duel that the TCG and OCG do not have. And that card is Sprite Elf. So I'm going to show you arguably the strongest Master Duel exclusive Yubel combo using this card. And if you've played the ladder at all in like the last month or so, especially in the higher ranks, you probably already know what I'm referring to. So we're gonna start with the classic, Yubel 2-card combo: Dark Beckoning Beast or Opening the Spirit Gates plus Samsara D Lotus. Pretty simple. Dark Beckoning Beast. It starts the same as you would a normal combo. DBB, add opening, add Chaos Summoning Beast. Doesn't really matter what you add because you're gonna normal summon Samsara Lotus using Dark Beckoning Beast, and you're gonna use Lotus to summon Spirit of Yubel, and then Yubel is going to place Nightmare Pain, and then you're gonna Nightmare Pain the Spirit of Yubel. Just standard stuff so far. So get the Grave Squirmer, then trigger the Spirit to summon Yubel from your deck. Then Grave Squirmer special itself, pop the Yubel, get Terror Incarnate from deck, then link off Grave Squirmer and Terror Incarnate into Yama, and then Yama will add Shavara, and here you will make your first Phantom of Yubel, putting back Terror Incarnate and Yubel. And now Grave Squirmer will special summon back Spirit of Yubel, and now Shavara, pop the Spirit of Yubel. This should all be the familiar so far. And then Spirit of Yubel, get Yubel from deck. Then link off Shavara plus Yubel into Soul of Rage, and then Soul of Rage or Shavara, set the Unchained trap, and here is where it is the first time that this combo will start to deviate. So first, I will use Opening Up the Spirit Gates to pitch the Nightmare Pain, and then summon back the Spirit of Yubel, and then I will use the Opening of the Spirit Gates because I control Spirit of Yubel. I will just simply add back the Nightmare Pain because that's free. Now I will link Unchained Soul of Rage, Spirit of Yubel, and Phantom of Yubel into Appaloosa. And here is the key part. Because Dark Beckoning Beast is a level 2 and Unchained Soul Lord of Yama is a rank 2. You know what that means? These two can go into this card called Gigantic Sprite. And here you should probably be able to clue in on what's going to happen. So first, I'm going to summon another Phantom of Yubel just because I can, by putting back Lotus and Yubel. And now we're going to use Gigantic Sprite and 2-lock ourselves, detaching Yama, or doesn't really matter, but we're going to summon Nightmare Corruptor Iblee from deck. Okay, so this card is back. And now we can link off Gigantic Sprite plus Nightmare Corruptor Iblee into Sprite Elf. This will give our opponent the Iblee. And now, because our opponent now controls a monster, Sprite Elf can revive a Link 2 monster, which means that they can just revive the Unchained Soul of Rage. In case you were wondering how we get the Rage back on the field, this is how, because Sprite Elf is a balance card. And here is the end board, okay? So, you have Appaloosa, Phantom of Yubel, Unchained Soul of Rage, plus Escape of the Unchained. That's part of the standard end board that you would get from this hand. However, on top of that, well, first of all, Appaloosa and Unchained Soul of Rage cannot be targeted because Sprite Elf gives them targeting protection, because of course it does. Why wouldn't this card give targeting protection? But you gave your opponent Nightmare Corruptor Iblee, and this Iblee lock is extremely difficult to out, because we have this card called Nightmare Pain, which forces your opponent to only attack Yubel monsters, and all of our Yubel monsters have 0 attack. So what happens when two 0 attack monsters attack into each other? Nothing. They don't get destroyed by battle. So effectively, they cannot crash Nightmare Corruptor Iblee. Also, if anytime the first time they normal summon something, you can simply use Escape of the Unchained, popping your Soul of Rage and pop their normal summon if they try to go to a Link 2, and then they can't go into a Link 2. So pretty much this setup is, you need what's it called? Lingerable, or something like a Droplet, or like an enemy controller, or bust. Otherwise you just automatically lose. And you know, it's not like it's just the Iblee. You know, you do have 4 monster negates plus Unchained Soul of Rage link off your opponent's monsters if anything goes wrong, plus the pop off Escape of the Unchained. So you know, for fun, let's see how the Danger AI tries to attempt to play through this Iblee lock. Thinking. If they're thinking a hard time, they're thinking for a long time. Normal summon Snow, yeah, that Snow will get popped by Escape. But 1 normal summon. And now we will use Yama and Soul of Rage. And we'll add back the Shavara. But just by the way, this also plays around Call by the Grave. If they're thinking that they can at least call by the grave the Soul of Rage before, so that you don't have to deal with a Soul of Rage on next turn, or that they can call by the Unchained Soul War of Yama. No, they can't. They can actually not call by the grave this, because if they do call by the grave, you can simply chain Sprite Elf to revive the Unchained Soul of Rage anyways, to dodge the called by. And you can do that because you know, their opponent still controls the Iblee, so they still control monsters. You can still revive a Link 2 with Sprite Elf. So you can even, so this even plays around called by. So yeah, we have the Shafara back, and then you can special back the Unchained Soul of Rage. And what's also good about this is that because you give your opponent a monster, this also means that your opponent cannot evenly, and they cannot Lightning Storm either. So they can't simply Lightning Storm the Nightmare Pain away and then crash the Iblee either, because you know they control the Iblee. So this also conveniently plays around board breakers as well. And again, this is you get all the same interruptions as you would on the end board normally anyways, the Appaloosa, the Rage, the Yubel, the Escape, but you just, on top of that, because Sprite Elf is a balanced card, you get to have a Sprite Elf plus a Nightmare Iblee on top of what the normal board that you would make with the same 2-card combo anyways. So yeah, I don't know. I guess there's a reason that Sprite Elf is banned in both TCG and OCG. And yeah, in case if you're wondering, can you do this was a 2-card combo? Can you do this with a 1-card combo? Yes, you can, absolutely. Let me show you. So yes, you can Iblee lock your opponent with just 1 card. Here, I'll show you how to do it with just the 1-card combo Samsara D-Lotus. Doesn't even have to be Nightmare Throne. Now, this also applies to where sometimes you have a 2-card combo, but your opponent has a hand trap, so then if you have the extender, then you can play through the hand trap. So just think of this as like either a 1-card combo or a 2-card combo playing through a hand trap. Both usually should work in this case. So here, Samsara D Lotus, Tribute, summon Spirit of Yubel. If they dare Maxi or Ash, you know, the Gamma's gonna eat them alive. So yeah, set Nightmare Pain. And then Nightmare Pain, pop Spirit of Yubel. And then add Grave Squirmer, and then Yubel, some Spirit of Yubel, summon out Yubel. Special Grave Squirmer. Pop the Yubel. Summon out Terror Incarnate. And link these two off into Yama. And search Shabara after missing timing, because I've never seen this effect not miss timing before. So yeah, add Shabara. And then make Phantom of Yubel. Using Terra Incarnate plus Yubel. Then Grave Squirmer's gonna revive the Yubel. Or the Spirit of Yubel. And now we're going to pop the Spirit of Yubel with Shabara. And man, it's incredible what 1-card combos do these days. And yeah, summon back the Spirit of Yubel. And now these two go into Rage. And then set the Trap card. Now, you can make a second Phantom of Yubel if you want to, although it doesn't really do much because it's a hard once per turn. But I mean, if you want to just BM your opponent even more, you can make a second Phantom of Yubel now. But instead, if that's all, if it was just a 1-card combo, you would just overlay Yama plus Unchained Soul of Rage into Gigantic Sprite, because apparently we're allowed to make rank 2s without any level 2 monsters these days. So anyways, now this Gigantic Sprite will summon out the Iblee, and then you will link into Sprite Elf, give them the Iblee, and then your Sprite Elf will revive the Unchained Soul of Rage, and here you have the combo. Again, the difference between this and the 2-card combo is that the 2-card combo had an Appaloosa, so the 1-card combo is just the same board minus the Appaloosa. But it's fine, because the Appaloosa is not the part of the board that we care about the most. The part that we care about is the Iblee Lock plus Soul of Rage, Escape, Phantom, and Nightmare Pain. This contains every component needed to secure the lock. No attacking anything but Phantom of Yubel, pop for a normal summon, play around called by with, you know, Elf, and yeah. All it really takes to perform this combo is to add a Nightmare Corruptor Iblee to your main deck as a brick, and add a Sprite Elf in your extra deck. Or Sprite Gigantic Sprite in your extra deck. Sprite Elf too, but I've seen a lot of builds already playing Sprite Elf even without playing the Iblee Lock. So if you already ran the Sprite Elf, then this only really costs 1 extra deck slot, and you know, Elf is a pretty good card in standard Yubel anyways, just because Dark Beckoning Beast is a level 2 and you can easily access this and then have, you know, party protection as well. And the Nightmare Corruptor Iblee, honestly, a lot of times it's not even a brick, because it's a dark monster, so you can even pop Iblee with Nightmare Pain. So, you know, worst case scenario, you have that. You also have Opening the Spirit Gates. You can pitch Iblee for Opening the Spirit Gates. And then you don't even have to go through Gigantic. You can simply use Elf to revive the Iblee, then link off the Iblee into something like an Unchained Soul of Rage. And then then you would have, or like an Appaloosa, for example. I think making Rage with this plus Shavara might be a little difficult because you can't special summon monsters except fiends, but you can link this into something like an Appaloosa, and then by doing that, it also goes to your opponent's side of the field, and then you don't even have to go through the Gigantic Sprite because you already hard drew it. So you might even have more link materials if you hard draw the Iblee a lot of times, if you open it with the Spirit Gates. So yeah, the fact that you can combo, you can do the Iblee Lock whether you draw the Iblee or not is kind of ridiculous. That it, just more unintended synergy. I guess I guess it was meant to be to run Iblee in this deck, and yeah, man, I don't know. This is like the first time in a long time that I've actually started looking at Sprite Elf thinking that this card might be a bit problematic. That they hit all the level 2 engines in Master Duel so that Sprite Elf could survive, and it worked for the most part. Although now, and especially with Fiend Smiths coming, I'm not quite sure. We might have to evaluate this card a little bit. But yeah, if you're having a bad day or you just want to ruin someone else's day, and like you just want to be toxic, go ahead, do this comp. As if people didn't hate playing against Yubel enough already. Give them one more reason. Okay, so just to be thorough, I thought I should add this combo too. And this is the 2-card combo, and we're at the steps up to this point are the exact same. If you remember, I made a second fan of Yubel at this point, and I just linked off the Rage plus Samsara Lotus plus the fan of Yubel into an Appaloosa. There's something else you can do besides making Appaloosa here. If you're really paranoid and you are fixated on the lock, you can, in fact, instead of making another fan of Yubel and linking it off into Appaloosa, you can make something else. And that something else is IP Masquerade using these two. So why IP? Well, I'll explain at the end. So we're gonna just do get the Iblee lock first. So overlaid Rage plus Yama because that's allowed, and then Gigantic Sprite, detach, summon Iblee, and then make Elf with Iblee and Gigantic Sprite, and then Iblee summons itself back, and then Elf will revive the Rage. Okay, so what this is this IP Masquerade basically ensures the lock. Even if they have an out to Iblee, like if they have a Lingaribo, or if they want to tribute summon a Bestial to out the Iblee, well, guess what? You can simply Sprite Elf revive back the Iblee, and then link off the Iblee with IP Masquerade, and then give them back the Iblee. And then they're back to square one. So, I mean, it makes the out pretty much almost unoutable. Like, the fact that you have Phantom plus Nightmare Pain plus an escape to pop normal summon normally, and now, even if they do out it one time, you can just revive it with Elf and then give it back to them, and then relock them a second time. So, yeah, if you're really paranoid about your opponent outing the lock, you can make an IP instead of an Apple. Now, frankly, I don't think this is really necessary because if you Iblee lock them plus have the full Unchained board, you're probably gonna win regardless. Even if they somehow out the Iblee, the resources they use to out the Iblee is just gonna like, I mean, frankly, they're not gonna be able to out the Yubel board 9 times out of 10 after also outing the Iblee board. But if you really want to be like extra toxic and just make them stick the Iblee with them at all times, like a parasite, then yeah, just go for the IP Masquerade. Use another extra deck slot on the IP, because I know most Yubel decks that don't play the Iblee do not run IP. So if you don't want to spend the extra deck slot on the IP Masquerade, it's fine. You would just do the combo I showed you earlier and just make an Appaloosa, and you're gonna win 99% of those games anyways. But yeah, this IP is to be extra toxic and extra ensure the Iblee lock. So yeah.